Right, let's start with Manchester United then. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick, as we know, are in the running to take charge of the club until the end of the season. There's been an update in the last 25 minutes. Kaveh Solokol.
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have face-to-face talks with the United hierarchy tomorrow. Michael Carrick has already spoken to the United hierarchy. Now, you would assume that when we're talking about face-to-face talks, it's effectively an interview with people like Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, who are in charge of running the club under Jim Ratcliffe. I've got to be honest with you, Mike. I mean, I can't quite get my head around this because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked by Manchester United.
Paid off, broken man. Now they want him back.
He was sacked by Manchester United just over 4 years ago. I remember his final game, United lost 4-1 against Watford. Previously, they lost to Man City. A few games before that, they lost 5-0 to Liverpool. They were 7th in the Premier League. And they are going potentially back to him. And the other person they've spoken to is Michael Carrick, the person who took over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the interim manager 4 years ago. Now, Michael Carrick, brilliant player. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, brilliant player. But you look at their managerial record and you have to ask, what have they done that is going to be an improvement on Ruben Amorim? What have they done? Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his last job was at Besiktas. He was sacked in the summer after they were knocked out of the Europa League playoffs, and then they were knocked out of the Europa Conference League playoffs by Lausanne, the Swiss club that's also owned by INEOS. And Michael Carrick, incredible player though he was, you look at his record at Middlesbrough, he failed to win promotion with Middlesbrough. Last season, they finished 10th. He was sacked 3 or 4 weeks after the end of the season when they held a review. So for the life of me, I cannot understand, even though both these players were exceptional players for Manchester United, what they have done to be in the running to take over as the manager of the club until the end of the season.
All right, Michael, let's talk INEOS then. They've had a number of important decisions to make. Have they got any right?
Maybe Manchester United fans would say parting company with Ruben Amorim, because I think a lot of fans had enough. I kept hearing about formation all the time. I don't hear Oliver Glasner going about formation all the time. But then you'd go back to it and say, well, when Man United wanted Ruben Amorim, I remember Ruben Amorim, we were getting interviews from Sporting Lisbon. He didn't want to join a club midway through the season. He was so reluctant to join a club midway through a season. That's all I heard from Ruben Amorim. When he joined Manchester United, he didn't want to join midway through a season. You don't want to hear that when you're a fan. You want to hear about your own club. You want to say, I'm at Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Not saying I need the start of the season, I need this, I need that. I think the Dan Ashworth situation was a bit of a puzzling one. It was a very high-profile, messy situation with Newcastle United. He didn't stay. You got England talking about Euros bids. There's no Old Trafford. I mean, I'm not saying that's their fault at all, but you look at their stadium plans, the design of it, the funding is in question as well. So there's a lot of issues up in the air, I think.
Have they got? Go on.
The thing about INEOS is when they came in, they said we're going to make Manchester United great again. They were very bullish about the fact that they were going to do a better job than the Glazers of running Manchester United.
Well, let me ask you that question. Were United in a better position when the Glazers were in charge of football operations?
Just going by facts, not my opinion, you have to say yes. Because under the Glazers, Manchester United won the title. OK, Sir Alex Ferguson was the manager. They won the European Cup. They won FA Cup, League Cup. The Glazers, much maligned as they are, have a track record of sporting success. They've won 2 Super Bowls with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not very easy to win a Super Bowl, especially with the Buccaneers. What have INEOS won? What is their sporting pedigree? They came in and said, we're going to do a better job than the Glazers. We know best. We're going to sort this out. Now, to be fair to Jim Ratcliffe, he's put some of his own money into the club. But you listen to what United fans are saying, and they're saying it's been one wrong decision after another. Giving Erik ten Hag a new contract, then sacking him. Pursuing Dan Ashworth, paying to get him from Newcastle United, then sacking him. Appointing Ruben Amorim, who Dan Ashworth didn't want, when Ruben Amorim wanted to wait until the end of the season to join, when they knew he played three at the back, then falling out with Ruben Amorim and going back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, somebody who was sacked by the much maligned Ed Woodward. Now, I'm not here to defend the Glazer family. Ever since they bought Manchester United, when I was a newspaper journalist, I have been critical of their ownership model and what they've done to Manchester United. But if you look at the facts,